Are we live? I think we're live. What's up, guys? I know Mason Stevens here. What's up, buddy? Hope you're doing well. We're getting geared up. Wrote some notes down. Things I wanted to discuss. And as always, we're going to take some phone calls. Get my screen adjusted here. Okay. Looks like we're good. Looks like we're getting some people here. Got Mason and a few other people. Hope you guys are doing well. Sorry, I actually had to change the time on this thing from 6 p.m. tonight till now, till 1. But I'm actually going out of town to a hotel, and I had to get this done short change on time. So I had to do this now instead. I'd rather do it than not do it, and I apologize. I know I missed the last 2 Sundays, I believe, 2 or 3 Sundays, just because of traveling and just busy all over the place. So back on track today. Hopefully we can do them again tomorrow or next Sunday as well. We got Aaron here. What's up, buddy? What's up? Love the content. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. We got Ryan. What's up, Dave? What's up, buddy? What's up, Ryan? Hope you're doing well. If you guys are new to this, or if you're joining on, please give the video a share and see if we can get more people on. Try to help everybody out. And then there's a number down here somewhere coming across the screen. You guys can call, ask food plot questions. We'll get that rolling, and then we'll just have a general discussion. First things first. Friday. This past Friday, we filmed a 35-minute video for the virtual outdoor show. It was me and Chris filmed it, and it ended up being 35 minutes. It was only supposed to be 30 minutes, but I asked if it could be 35, and they said yes. So we made a 35-minute video for the outdoor virtual show, Medina show. It's going to be aired February 5th, I believe at 5 p.m. Eastern time. You guys can go to the website and you can watch it there, and it should be pretty good. I think it's informational, and I think there's a lot of content in there that can be useful to a lot of people. It kind of goes from the basics, from how to start from the beginning on planting food plots, where to put them, how to place them, soil samples, fertility, different types of tricks and tips in there, how to design the food plot. We kind of crunched that into all of 35 minutes, which we had like over an hour of content, but we just had to cut out a lot of information because we were only given 30 minutes for that. So I can't wait to air that. We'll air it on the channel as well. Pretty long video. It'll be the longest video that I've ever posted, like an actual upload other than a live stream. So I think it'll be very good post on the channel, especially even for new people that are just starting out food plots, or people that have planted food plots for years. I believe that there's information in there that can help them as well. So we're pretty excited about it. It took like 2 hours, to shoot the video, from shooting different segments, stopping, readjusting, and setting up the video, the angles, the lighting, because we tried to make it as good as possible. And I'm not a videographer or nothing, so it took a while to set up some lights and try to get good lighting in there to make it the best that we're capable of doing. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that in the coming weeks. What's today's date? The 24th, so 3 weeks we'll post it. Ben, first year using Antler Grow and first year starting out food plot. Super excited to see what's to come. Thanks for all content. You're welcome, man. You know, Antler Grow, I get, it's probably the number one question I get anywhere I go. Like it just became very popular on the channel. People have used it, they like it. Sometimes I get criticized for talking about it so much, but it's not. It's just something that's popular, and it's part of my arsenal that I use, and people ask about it, so I talk about it. Antler Grow Wildlife Management. What's up? What's up, Jeff? Hope you're doing well down there in the sunny state, Florida. I know it's like 30, 32 here today. Very cold. Yesterday or Friday when I went up to the PA to shoot a video, I think it was like 15 degrees. Pretty cold. Yeah, so thanks for that, Ben. Appreciate that. But yeah, February 4th to the 7th, you guys can look that up, and we'll have that video posted on the website and YouTube and the virtual show. I'm very excited about it. It was a very good video that turned out, and can't wait to post it, man. I'm super excited about that one. Probably, I would say it's probably one of my best videos that I've ever really done, with just educational content, the format for it. I think it'll be good. And we had I wrote some questions down that people had emailed me this week about, and I have a few videos coming out about them as well. But the first one, that probably the number 2 question I get on the channel or email questions, is screening. Screening for food plots. We talk about this in detail on the video that's coming out here in the next couple weeks on the virtual show. But to touch on it, screening is it's a very popular topic. If you search it on YouTube, it's a very high searched item, keyword that people are searching for is screening for food plots. What's the best type of screening? And there's good reason for it. Screening food plots works very well. We do it. I've done it every year for screening food plots or screening access. And for the general public, the most common type of screen is Egyptian wheat. It's fairly easy to grow, and if you do it right, it will last a long time. Now, yeah, if you're up in the north, far north, and you get tons of snow, the end of the year, January, February, it's going to fall down. It's an annual. So it grows one season and then dies out, and then it falls down. But it's a screen. So if it falls down at the end of hunting season, who cares? We're not using it for bedding. There's no reason to use Egyptian wheat for bedding. Doesn't make sense, because it falls down, and that would be no good. So for screening wise, like I said, the most common thing is going to be Egyptian wheat. You can change it from year to year. So if your food plots change, you don't have a permanent screen there that you have to eliminate. You just plant Egyptian wheat, and you can change it each year, change the design, change your route, change the route that you want the deer to take, and it's very good. It grows, matures in roughly, I think, 160 days, I believe. 150, 160, something like that. And when it matures, it'll turn brown roughly around October, and it'll be sturdy. But when you're planting it, you have to plant it according to soil samples. You have to follow the directions. You have to follow the planting seed rate, because we have experimented with this, and if you plant it too thick, it shunts it, and you have thin stalks, and then it doesn't stand up very well. You have to plant it accordingly to whatever it is that brand that you're buying. If it says 10 pounds an acre, you're going to have to section or pace it off. You have to measure it out. You have to plant according to what it says. So If you're planting a half acre, then you have to use 5 pounds. You can go. I've noticed like you can go a little thick, little more seed than normal, but not much because it will shunt it, and they need nitrogen and potassium for stalk strength, and you'll have a good stand of Egyptian wheat that will last basically all hunting season. And we've had it grow, like most Egyptian wheat will tell you that it'll grow 8 feet, typically 7, 8, 9 feet. We've grown it to 15 feet. Does it need to be 15 feet? Probably not. But if you can get it that high, why not? So planting it, it's probably one of my favorite things to do because not only can you use it, deer don't eat it, but you can use it to screen your access, and then also use it to direct deer. We detail this more on the video coming out for the virtual show, but you can actually cut paths through the Egyptian wheat, and you can make the deer travel through those paths because deer travel through the path of least resistance. So literally take a lawnmower, weed whacker, whatever it is, and you cut a 3 foot, 4 foot wide opening in the Egyptian wheat in front of your bow stand, and deer will use that thing and it'll look like a cattle path. Luke, and what do you think about rope scrapes? I'm not a huge fan of them. Personally, I've never used a rope scrape. To me, it just doesn't make sense. I know people that use them. They use rope, um, and they have mixed results with it. But again, I've never used it. To me, it doesn't make sense. It's not natural, and I would not tell anybody to use a rope scrape. Aaron, what do you think about the mineral Lucky Buck? Have you ever used it? I've never used Lucky Buck. Um, Lucky Buck is just another mineral company that sells mineral. It's like 500 other companies out there. I don't believe in dumping mineral on the ground. It doesn't make sense forcing a deer to eat dirt. So I have never used Lucky Buck, and I will probably never use Lucky Buck. If you're using a mineral like that, such as Lucky Buck, that you dump on the ground, they're good for pictures. You can get good pictures in front of them. But if that's what you're using it for, then that's great. If you're looking to boost the health of your deer herd, I would focus more on actual food value, browse, food plots, and such. But other than that, it'll definitely get you a good picture during the summer and even early fall months. It'll get you some pictures. I actually met the owner of Lucky Buck at the show was that? It was a trade show. Man, why can I not think of the trade show? He sat in our booth for 6 hours. ATA show. He was at the ATA show. He sat in our booth for 6 hours. Luke, have you ever used rope scrapes? No, Luke. Like I just mentioned, I've never used rope scrapes. I know people that have used them and tried them, and they've told me their experiences with it, and it hasn't been very good. I've From what I've heard, it's like 50-50 on it. But to me personally, I just don't see the point in a rope scrape. Rope is not natural in the woods, so I would probably never use them. I wouldn't even really use them for experiment just because it just doesn't make sense to me. Aaron, yep. Picks are what I use it for, and thank you for your honesty. Yeah, Aaron, it's they're great for pictures. If you want to dump that mineral on the ground, it'll I've done it years ago. Not with that. lucky buck, but I've done it with other types, you know, 5, 6, 7 years ago when I used to think that it was actually doing something because I was getting a picture. You know, in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm getting all these pictures, so it's got to be helping the deer herd. But through research and just, you know, talking to different people and coming up with my own conclusion is that it really doesn't benefit anything. So I stopped using it. Let's see. We got Aaron. Answered that. Luke. Thanks, brother. No problem. And then let's see. Where'd my other screen go? All right, there we go. Okay, so the next thing I had written down was actually we had a question. Aaron, I have 13 acres. I'm putting in food plots now in this summer. Hope everything come together. Yeah, Aaron. You know, summer food plots are great. It can be great depending how your land is set up and what's around your land. We detail this a lot on that video coming out, so I encourage everybody to watch that video. I know it's 35 minutes long, but it's informational packed. It's got tons of stuff in there about that. And summer food plots are great. You know, I like planting them. We like planting buckwheat. Sometimes you can get away with soybeans if you have enough acres. But you know, sometimes you know you just have to decide if you know is planting soybeans appropriate for the area. Is planting clover appropriate for the area? What are your goals? Do you want a turkey hunt? Do you need to attract deer? You know, in the spring and summer. Do you think your little 1/8 acre food plot is going to benefit a deer in your area that has 20, 30, 40 acres of agricultural fields around? If the area is planted in corn, then that's not very much nutritional value to the deer, and they're not going to eat it till the fall. So in that case, then I would probably plant summer food, you know, or spring and summer food. If your area is 30 acres of beans, 40, 50, 60, whatever it is, acres of beans, and you have enough area, or sorry, if you have like an 1/8 acre food plot and you're around these areas that have dozens and dozens and dozens of acres of soybeans, you have to consider, is my little 1/4 acre, 1/8 acre food plot really going to make a difference? And the answer to that is probably not. So you have to consider that and plant appropriately or accordingly to your surrounding areas. Now, if you have a huge farm, you know, and you can plant, you know, 5, 10, you know, 15 acres of food, then go all in, because the more food you can produce that's done correctly through, you know, soil samples and fertility and, you know, different things like that, then I believe that, you know, it has a huge benefit to the deer herd. But again, you have to go back to, what am I working with? What is my property surrounded by? How many acres do I have? How many deer do I have? Do I need to increase the deer herd? If I'm doing this, is it really going to benefit the deer herd? And why am I doing it? You know, if you're planting clover for turkey hunting, then that's great. So you just have to assess the situation. Each property is different. Each property is set up different. Each property is surrounded by something different. So you have to figure this out, you know, on your own, and just kind of think about it. And it all boils down to, is my food plot, that's what your goal is my food plot really going to benefit that wild free ranging deer? Aaron, I like the video on small kill plots. They try that on this property. Yeah, they work. They work great. You know, fall food plots are a great attractant, and for many reasons, especially ones that are unpressured and ones that you can actually get into and get out of without spooking deer. We detail this on the video, but you're planting food plots and enhancing your property, then you're not accessing your food plots properly. You end up making your property worse than it was before you even started, because when you make your property attractive with food plots placed in the right location, and you start just, you know, walking all over the place and doing this and doing that, and you're excited because you're doing all these improvements and you're super excited about it, and you're just walking, you know, wherever, you end up pushing the deer out, and it's no good. So it becomes like a repel situation where you're attracting all these deer to your food plot, to the woods, to these mock scrapes, to this, to that, to whatever it is that you're doing, your mineral holes, you know, if you're using them, and you start pushing the deer out, then the deer just go elsewhere. They can only handle that so much with stress and being bumped. So you have to be careful. I've seen it a lot of times, you know, where people are making these improvements and they don't see the rewards because they end up ruining it before it actually starts. We go to different, you know, properties with clients for land consulting, and they say we did this, we did this, we did this, and we did this, and we didn't see any deer. And it's not that, you know, the improvements are bad, because you can go about it 10, 50, 10, 20, 30, 50 different ways on your land. It's not that one of those are wrong. It's just how that you're approaching the land and how you're hunting it after you do the improvement. So after the people tell me, hey, I did this, and I did this, and I did this, and I did this, and I'll say, okay, well, how did you get to this stand? How did you get to this stand? How'd you get to this one? How'd you get to this one? How'd you get to this one? And they say, well, I just walked right through there, or I walked right through there, I walked right through there. No good. You have to be strategic about it, especially sometimes if you don't care about, you know, walking different certain ways or accessing the lands or playing to win or doing this. I mean, honestly, you're better off just doing nothing on your property, because again, you can make it a repel situation where you're doing all these improvements and you're careless on the way that you approach property, and you just push them out. Happens all the time. Happens more times than not, and it's a crappy situation, because you're spending all this money and you're putting in food plots and lime and fertilizer. You know, we had a guy last year that we went to. I can't remember the size, the acre size of it, but when I went there, he had all these gadgets everywhere, all these different, you know, mock scrapes and all these different mineral blocks and mineral holes, this and it was all these trail. I mean, it was like dozens and dozens and dozens of trail cameras on the property, and he said, I'm checking this, I'm checking this, I'm checking all these cameras, you know, several times a week, and I just didn't see anything, or the deer was nocturnal. And I'm like, stop going onto your property so many times throughout the week. Like, there's no reason to. If you're checking trail cameras, then go during when you hunt. You know, only during hunting season. If you're going to approach a certain tree stand, only check them when you're going to hunt. Don't make special trips in the woods. Hunt on days that it makes sense, not because you want to. I say that all the time. It's because when we do these improvements and we get excited about it, we want to hunt the land more. And then when you hunt the land more, you end up pushing the deer off, and you don't see the benefits or the rewards from all your hard work. Because let's face it, food plots, you know, especially if you're doing them with hand tools or whatever it is, it's hard work. You're out there, you're sweating, you know, you're it's labor intensive most times, and it costs a lot of money. You got to pay for the seed, you got to pay for the lime, you got to pay for the fertilizer, you got to pay for the gas to get there, you got to pay for the tractor, you got to pay for this, and you do all of this expecting, and you have high hopes, and then it comes back and it's like, man, I did all this stuff, I just don't understand what's going on. And then it's time, you have to sit back and take it all in, see what you did, sit back, relax, and think about, okay, well, what did I do wrong? Why am I not seeing the rewards like I thought I would be? Did I not plant the right thing? Did I not approach the stand properly? Did I go to the property too much? Did I check the trail cameras too much? Am I leaving scent? Whatever it is, you just have to sit back and think about it, instead of trying to constantly, dig into information. Sometimes it's the littlest things that make the biggest difference, and usually it's pressure, especially on small properties. If you have whatever it is, 20 acres, 50 acres, it's a small property. You can push deer out very quickly. It happens all the time. And when October hits, you'll get people on social media that'll say, well, deer are gone, it magically disappeared, it's the October law. And it's not. It's not the October law. It's just because you pressured the land, and the deer left the land because you're on it too much and you pressured it. So that's what you have to watch for. Happens all the time. So if you don't want to waste your money, be careful on the improvements that you make, because it'll happen quick, like quicker than you can snap your fingers. Deer will just be off your property. They'll be nocturnal. You'll get all your pictures, your trail camera. It'll be at nighttime. You don't see any deer during the day. And the worst thing, it's the number one problem with all of this, is pressure and how you actually access the land. It sucks, but it just happens too often. All right, what other questions you guys have? You guys can call. Surprised nobody called today. It is during the middle of the day. Usually we do this at night. I was just thinking, nobody called, which doesn't matter. Yeah, I want to make sure the thing was on for that. Let's see. So I wrote down, next thing was so I'm getting all these emails now about land consulting, and we had somebody reach out the other day from New Hampshire, and which is a little bit further of a drive that I want to go to, but I've been getting a lot of this, and it's nothing new really, but with land consulting, there's millions, not millions, but hundreds of people that do it. And I don't want to say no one, each person probably has a different technique to it and a different way that they approach it, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just depends on who that you want to get within your price range. There's, like I said, there's probably hundreds of people that do it, and each one will approach it. But the emails that I've been getting over the past several weeks are mind blowing. It's just several a day, with people wanting me to come to their land, whether it's in, I mean, I had one the other day from Texas and Kansas, Indiana, New Hampshire, Vermont, North Carolina, South Carolina. And I would love to go there, but with my schedule, I can't at this moment. In the future, then yeah, I'll probably do all of that. I'll venture out further. But within, this time frame, hopefully in 3 years, I plan on doing it full time, full time job, which that's my goal in 3 to 4 years. And people have been blowing me up about it, which I'm excited about. But typically we only go to Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio, parts of Ohio, North Carolina, everything on the East Coast that I can physically drive to, and I'll do it. I'll go. I will walk the land with you for whatever hours it takes. 5 hours, 8 hours, 7 hours, 6 hours, whatever it takes to get the full tour of the property. And we sit down and we'll draw like a map. I'll give you the map, give you detailed instructions on what to do, when to do it, what month to do it in, what your goals are, what your expectations are, the history of the property, the history of your hunting success on that property. But I can say from now until the end of February is booked. Like there's no time to do anything else. Every weekend is booked. Every Friday is booked. So it's a lot of traveling coming up in the next month, and I've already been to, I don't even know how many over the past where we at over the past month, basically in January, and a lot. So it's hard to keep up with them. But I just want to answer that question because people have been emailing me like crazy about it, which again, I'm super excited. But if if you're interested in something like that, just let me know and shoot me an email. It's Whitetail Obsession Outdoors #1 at yahoo.com, and we can figure something out. Well, there's information on the website about it, and yeah, hopefully that answers that question. Or I don't remember, somebody specifically emailed me asking me to explain that part of it, like what I did with the consulting. But that's pretty much it. Like the guy wrote with Texas, I'm like, I can't go to Texas right now. Maybe in 2 years or 3 years or whatever it is, I'll be able to go, which will be exciting. But right now, it's basically on the East Coast. Aaron, pressure is what I'm worried about. My house is in front of the property. I've been letting everything grow up between house and woods. Trying to do food plots and stands, good spots, easy to get to without jumping deer. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point because that's an issue when you have your house there. I went to a property a few weeks ago in PA, and I think it was Zach. He had a food plot behind his house, and it was literally right behind the house. And my recommendation was to get rid of it because the land was pretty small, and the way that he had to access the land was literally walking either through that food plot or like within feet of it to get to where he had to go. And on that size of a property, I think it was like 8 acres or 10 acres or something. I mean, I get, planting food and wanting to help the deer, But you have to come to, you have to realize, is what I mentioned earlier, is is my food plot really going to benefit that wild free ranging deer? You know, if it's less than an acre, you know, if you're planting these little quarter acre or eighth acre plots, it's probably not going to really benefit them, other than if you're planting them in the fall for a attractant. So my recommendation was to actually get rid of it. That way you avoid, you know, jumping deer. There's no deer in your, you know, there's no real reason for a deer to be in your backyard. They stay in the woods. Put the food plot away on the back side of your food house, away from that, the furthest, you know, area away from your house, and access it a different route. And I believe that's what they're going to do. And I think it'll be beneficial to them. But yeah, Aaron, that's a good way to look at it. You know, you have to get rid of, you have to try different access routes, in different areas, to where you can actually get into, you know, cut trees, you know, put some screening up to where you can get by, and I think that'll be beneficial to you. As the and as far as jumping deer, you know, you can jump deer a couple times. You know, once, sometimes you can do it once, sometimes you can do it twice, and I've seen um to where you can do it up to like 3-4 times and they still come back. Then after that they're 100% gone, because we had this old piece of property I used to hunt years ago, and we would walk directly around this island of woods that was a bedding area, and it was strictly a bedding area. Like, it was a club property. Nobody was allowed to go in there. It was uh it was a sanctuary that nobody was allowed to go into. But even with that, the way property, the way that the land laid, the way that the four-wheeler trails were, every time you'd ride by that, you pushed the deer out. It literally made no sense, the way that they had it set up, because you had guys using excuse me, you had guys using four-wheelers, you had guys using, just walking, you know, by that bedding area. And I actually killed a buck that came out of that bedding area later in the season during the rut. It's early stages of pre-rut, but it came to a mock scrape that I had made, and I had him pattern on that mock scrape. And I killed him later into the year. Our season started September. I killed him October 25th. I think it was. Let's see. Yeah, that one's that one I killed there was downstairs. But it was a good buck, and he came out of that bedding area. But during early season, with people walking by there, and the reason that changed was because early bow season, there was a bunch of people there, and they would push the deer out. Later into the year, it became, you know, shotgun season, and then, you know, they pushed deer out again. But it had that time frame between October leading into the rut that there was literally nobody there, and it was the best thing ever, because those deer came back to that bedding area, and I ended up shooting the buck that came through that bedding area, and he walked the edge. I think I have a video on this. I think I have it on video a couple years ago. But he came out of that bedding area on a doe. Doe came out. He came out behind her, and then she kind of veered off to the right into the field. Well, he walked that edge all the way around the edge, and I was on the point. I was literally sitting on the ground in a lawn chair, and he came up to a mock scrape that I was probably maybe 5 yards back into the woods, sitting in a log chair. There was a deadfall in front of me, and he came up to this mock scrape that I had him on trail camera literally every day or every other day. I started it with some buck urine, and I just kept putting it in every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks during August, September, the early stages of October. And he literally came to that thing every single day. I was sitting on the ground. It was getting dark. Like I only had minutes left of shooting light. And he came right to that mock scrape. And I actually, when I pulled the gun up, I didn't even have a chance to put it, in the shoulder. I just put it up, like didn't even aim through the scope, and it was so close. He was only like 5 yards away, and I shot him right through the chest. Ran, I don't know, 30 yards, 40 yards, something like that. Piled up, dead, and I got him mounted. It's downstairs. So those bedding areas, keep them unpressured, and you have them in the right areas. Their deer will, you have good success around them. Hunting away from them a little bit and get them traveling to whatever it is, a food plot, a mock scrape that's on the way to a food plot. It's a very good technique to kind of be in that transition zone between those. You have good success with it. All right, what else we got? Anybody else have any questions? I rambled on with that a little bit too much. If there's anybody new on there, you guys can call that number. Belinda Horn, I plan on using the Antler grower this year. Would like to know how early and how late in the season would spray the browse in the area. So, Belinda, you can use that as early as spring green up. So, if you're spraying browse, natural browse, then as soon as that greens up, leaves out, and gets a full leaf on it, whatever it is that you're spraying, as long as it's green, as long as it has a green leaf on it and it's growing during that spring green up, then I would spray every month, every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks, and spray the most that you possibly can. When it comes to food plots, is the same thing. So you have to wait until whatever it is that you're growing, you have to wait until it's probably 4, 5, 6 inches tall. Then you can start spraying it with the recommended rate, 1 ounce per gallon of water. And you can do those food plots every 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. It's best to spray in the early morning or late afternoon, especially if it's the dead of summer and it's scalding hot out. And then when you get into the late season, say October and November, you have wheat or rye planted or oats or brassicas, you can spray up into November, even if you get a few frosts, as long as that plant can accept moisture, the plant is still growing and it's not starting to brown out, you can still spray it. We have sprayed into mid-November with it, especially brassicas. If that plant is green and it is growing, and you get a warm day and it greens right back up, and that plant can still accept moisture, then I personally would spray the heck out of it. We plant a lot of wheat, winter wheat, in the fall. That way it's the first thing in the spring that greens up. And where we're at in central PA, the wheat greens up many weeks before spring green up, before the browse greens up. So we have that green winter wheat base, say 4 or 5 weeks before spring green up. So when that comes out of dormancy, the winter wheat start getting those warm days, I actually spray that once before anything else. So it gives the deer many weeks of food prior to spring green up. So when that thing starts greening up again, the deer start hitting it again, I spray it, because it's an additional 6 weeks 5 weeks, whatever it is, of nutrition, and then we just continue the cycle with planting our fall plots and disking, the winter wheat and stuff back into the soil, and that's our rotation. Hunting with Preston, what's up, buddy? Put out lime and fertilize some oak trees this weekend. Very nice. It's lime season. A lot of guys are putting lime out now this time of year. It's a great time to do it. I actually like putting it out with the snow on the ground. You can see where you're spreading, and it's a good time to do it. It's a very good time to amend the soil during January, February, March. That way, you're getting it done many months before it's actually time to plant your spring and summer food plots. Hunting with Preston, going to plant some chicory, clover around February 20th. Very nice. That's in Georgia. Correct, Preston? I think you're in Georgia. Where's City Sticker? Where's Chris at? Where's City Sticker Chris? He should be on here. I know he's in there somewhere. He's sleeping, napping. Nope, he's gone. He fell asleep. I bored him to death. I'm just typing something out here real quick, guys. Okay. All right, moving on. Anybody else have any questions? Any more questions, I should say. And then Aaron, wish you could send pics on here. Yeah, I don't. There's no there's no way to do it. I don't know what you're trying to send, but you can send it to my email. Whitetail Obsession Outdoors 1, the number 1 at yahoo.com. If you want to send me something, I'll get back to you on there sometime today. But I get this question a lot too with emails. Like, Dave, what's your email? I want to send you something. My email is in the description of every single video that I upload. There's a thing down there that just says email. Guys can send me pictures. For whatever reason, you just want to ask a question about a food plot. Everything's in there. City Sticker Chris, going to give this a thumbs down for starting without me. You shouldn't have been sleeping there, buddy. City Sticker Chris. Napping. Hey Chris, you should call me real quick. Call the number on the screen and we'll discuss this virtual video that I talked about earlier in the stream. Aaron, I have killed one buck every year off this property that I put that I put on wall killed 12 point this year. I've been wanting to do some more this land for next year. There's a lot of different things you can do. Like I mentioned, it's the little things that make a big difference when it comes to this stuff, and it's it's what you do. It's what you do this year that that benefits next year, and no matter what it is, and it's the littlest things. I'm telling you, it's the littlest things that you will see make the biggest difference. You know, different types of mock scrapes, different types of food plots, different types of travel corridors, you know, cutting trees down, doing this or doing that, enhancing, you know, browse or uh, planting blackberry bushes, enhancing blackberry bushes, and, you know, staying off your property during hunting season, hunting when, you know, it's best to do so, you know, and it's the littlest things make the biggest difference. Be amazed. I have this it's probably 5 acres of church. He was at church. I live in South Tyler. I live in South Louisiana, trying to figure out when to plant Egyptian wheat for screening on the way to my stand. Is there a certain time I should plant it to have it and to have it its full potential? Aaron, when you're planting such as Egyptian wheat, whether it's Egyptian wheat, corn, buckwheat, whatever it is, you have to go by temperature. So you want to plant it after the dangers of frost. So when you get into springtime, and you're in Louisiana, so it's going to be earlier than we are, but you just plant after the dangers of frost when you're getting that soil temperatures in the 60s, mid 60s. You're getting daytime highs in the 70s and 80s, and even in the like low 60s, it'll still go. But you have to plant after the dangers of frost. So, like in Maryland, each state, each area has a frost date, you know, that you can have a rough guess by, a rough estimate. And here in Maryland, it's May the 15th. So I'm basically going to plant food plots after May the 15th. But even then, you still have to go by temperature. So, like, the further up north you go, the earlier it's going to be, you know, maybe, or later it's going to be. It may be June, maybe June the 15th. Yeah, it really depends. You just have to go by the temperature. And we're going to talk about this on the virtual video here in a couple weeks, but you'll see like a lot of times where people are like, oh, when do I plant, what date do I plant by? It's never a date. Like, you can't set a certain date to plant something. And in the fall, when you go into the fall time, you want to plant roughly 45 to 60 days before the average first frost. So 60 days is kind of that 55, 60 days is that sweet time. But you have to also have to go by rainfall. So obviously that time of year, like we had this past year, it was a huge drought. So we had to wait and wait and wait and wait until we had rain coming, and then we planted, which was, I think, right around September 1st. And even then, it was very minimal. A lot of people had food plot failures this year due to lack of rain. So go by temperature in the spring and summer, and then in the fall, go by average of 55 to 60 days before your average first frost. So we're wanting to plant somewhere around mid August, second, third week of August, all the way up until we could plant September 1st, you know, first week of September, second week of September, After that, then you're starting to get a little, you know, too late. If you're planting brassicas now, if you're planting winter wheat, then, you know, depending what state you're in, depending when you have frost, you know, if you plant that 3 to 4 weeks before a frost, you know, it's going to be short, but you can get away with that, and you'll still have a sustainable food plot. So I hope that helps, Tyler. So in the spring and summer, again, go by temperature. After the dangers of frost, in the fall, plant 45 to 60 days before your average first frost. All right, Chris is going to call here in a minute. We're going to discuss this this outdoor show. When he gets done stuffing his face, eating. Samuel, does your hat have any correlation to your new outdoor company deal? No, none. This is which one am I wearing? Crops to Cattle. This is the Crops to Cattle one. This is just part of Antler Grow. So no, it doesn't have anything to do with that. Chris is really taking his good old time here, huh? And I'll announce that in a couple weeks, Samuel. It's it's pretty cool company. They've been around for a while, but they have a very good product that has great customer service. And usually, people will pick a company or something that whatever company that they can make the most money out off of, and because they have to, it's their job, you know, it's how they make money, so they have to pick a company that will pay them the most, no matter whether that product or company is good or not. And I've had companies, you know, over the years where the product is great, but the customer service is garbage. And at one point, I was promoting a product that worked great at one time. It worked great, and I think the product still would have been good, but they had some issues, and customer service was garbage. And I personally was getting like beat up and attacked on social media because here I was, my videos had, you know, promoting this product. I had hundreds of thousands of videos promoting this certain product, and I was getting attacked because I was promoting it. Yellow.
Yeah, who's this? Is this that Dave Richmond guy?
Yeah, who's this?
Hey, it's Chris.
You ain't Chris.
It's City Sticker Chris. What's up?
What's going on?
Just got in from church and
nice.
Some knucklehead was on here doing a live seminar, questions and answers.
Yeah.
Figured I'd call in. What's up, everybody?
Turn your audio down on your computer because I hear background noise.
Oh, you can actually hear that?
Yeah.
I got it all down.
Turn it down. I got to teach you everything.
There's a big lag here. Big lag.
Well, you don't need to hear the audio.
No.
Matter with you?
How's it going over there?
Cold.
What'd I miss?
You missed a lot of information.
No.
Yeah, you missed a lot of info.
You got people calling you?
Nobody called today.
How come nobody's calling in?
I don't know. I guess they hate me.
Am I live on the show right now?
You're live.
Oh, wow, I am special.
Say hi to Tyler.
Tyler, what's up?
And say hi to Samuel and Aaron and Hunting with Preston and Belinda.
I see a list. Belinda was my winner from my giveaway
Yes,
for the Antler Grow.
Yes, she was.
Yep. So they're fired up. They used the product a little bit last fall.
Yes.
They want to continue using it this year.
Yes. So what's up with the virtual show?
So Dave and I recorded a 35-minute seminar.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to go to the virtual show. I don't know. Did you explain any of that earlier? Did I miss that? Did you tell the folks about the Medina Media Virtual Outdoor Expo show?
I explained it the first couple minutes, but I think those people have left and it's all new people now.
Okay.
So Samuel says, "What's up, Chris?"
Hey, Samuel.
So all I said was the show. We're doing the show. We filmed the 35 minutes, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah. So I have a copy of it downloading right now, which is forever because I live in no sticks and my internet is slow.
Your internet is ancient.
It is ancient. I can run faster than it, so that means it's old.
Yes.
Needs updated.
I think the video was super informational packed.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be a good show. It's going to be a good video for folks to be able to watch. Information packed, very insightful. I was looking, in the show we said that we had like 700 videos combined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've got like 700 and almost 80. Almost 780 videos combined.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So we have over 700 videos.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well over.
Well, we made an error in the video then.
That's okay. That's okay.
We had a guy rocking retirement outdoors. What's up, Dave? Listening in from Alaska.
Oh yeah, I remember him. He was on some of the live feeds we had when we was in archery season there.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, recall that. That's cool.
I'm excited about the virtual show video. I can't wait to put the video out.
Yeah, I mean, if folks don't listen to that one, they're missing out.
Listen to you yap.
Oh no. I have 35 minutes. I think I spoke 2 minutes. I couldn't get a word in edgewise.
I know. I was excited.
But I took them to math class. I took them to art class.
Mm-hmm. Wait till you guys see the art that Chris drew on this video. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, but accurate.
Samuel says, "Is City Sticker Chris Worthing?"
Yes, he is.
Is that who you are?
He is one and the same, Samuel.
The legend.
The one and the only.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else would want to be cloned as this.
You're too short for me, so.
Yeah. I make up with height with the width.
Yeah.
All that muscular development.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm calling. Yeah.
So name something in the video that was educational.
Well, we talked about sunlight importance in the woods. We talked about the myth of people planting clover and thinking they didn't need to add nitrogen at planting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to leave it at that so people can watch it and find out what it is.
Yep.
We had a couple special things there at the ends, tips and tricks that we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about when and what to plant, or what we prefer to plant, I should say, things that make sense.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about planting 365 so that you don't have bare dirt.
Yep.
At any point in the year. There was lots of key features that everyone should tune in and watch.
With it being 35 minutes, they're gonna have to grab a cup of coffee and sit back with a cookie.
Correct. Correct.
It'll be the longest video I've ever uploaded.
Yes. I think mine was 20 minutes before this one's, like you said, 35. So.
Yeah, I think it's like 35, 30 seconds or something.
Mhm. Yeah.
And,
no, I think it. I think that it should be it's a very influential video.
yep.
Very, very honest, very easy to follow for beginners or someone that's been plotting for any length of time.
Yeah, definitely. Samuel, I never did catch any more info on the giveaway for tickets to the show. Is there a giveaway over? No, Sam, I still haven't really thought of anything to do. I still have, how many do I have left to give away? 11?
Oh, we was trying to figure that out on the way to church.
I have 11,
we
right?
had 20 to. I think we had 20 to start. I took 5, but then last night I asked for a 6th one.
Yes.
So
I gave one away already.
okay, so that would leave you with like 13, or did you? Or no, we had 20 and we had to use 2 for ourselves, right?
Yes, that's
we
18.
Started with 18. Yeah, we started with 18. I took 6, so that leaves you 12. You gave one away, so you have 11 left.
Okay, so since Samuel was asking, Samuel, if you send me an email, whitetailobsessionoutdoors1@yahoo.com, and promise not to give the code away to anybody else, I'll give you a code that you asked.
Go, Sam. Hooked up.
We have a question. Hey, I enjoy the channel. Last year I planted my first food plot upstate New York. It's 1 acre. I planted winter rye and grew pretty well. What can I do this spring? Buckwheat, frost seeding, anything? Little to no heavy equipment. So I'm going to say on that one, Joseph, if you want to convert that into, say, a clover plot, then you can frost seed right into that winter rye, say March, mid-March, somewhere around there, and you can convert that to a clover plot. If you don't, then I would wait till spring green up. I would disc that winter rye back in, and you could very well plant buckwheat. We love planting buckwheat. We'll be planting it this year, but that's something that you could do. What you got to say about that there?
Well, he could also have an annual clover going in there, if he'd like, after last frost. That would be a good smother crop for him as well. Obviously, buckwheat's a good smother crop, what I just mentioned, and soybeans, but 1 acre is probably not enough.
Well, did he say the size of the plot? Yeah, it's 1 acre. So soybeans probably
depending on how much pressure the plot gets. You may get away with it, you may not.
Yeah, probably may not be the best bet.
Right.
Soybeans. We planted three acres this year, but we fenced them off with a dual perimeter electric fence, and we fenced them off for 45 days, and they grew pretty good. But 1 acre, man, it's cutting it close.
Yeah.
My suggestion would be the buckwheat.
Buckwheat or the annual clover.
Yes, and then
about the same price.
Yeah, and then work that back in the fall. Plant your fall plot. Joseph, also, I would not plant. I know you said you planted straight winter rye. I would not plant straight winter rye. Winter rye is good, cold tolerant, but it's very bitter and it's not very attractive. I would do either a 75-25 split or a 50-50 split of winter wheat and winter rye. Winter wheat is more palatable and it's less bitter to the deer. So just to kind of spice that up a little bit, I would plant winter wheat. What do you guys say about that?
He said spice it up.
Yeah. What do you guys say about that?
Well, we planted, excuse my chewing, we planted a spot of winter wheat, or a winter rye straight. And they didn't nibble at it as much as we thought they would.
No. Because that was the hype.
But they do. Yeah, well.
Everybody's like, oh, you got to plant winter rye. Well, we did it.
call it a fad, like other guys call it?
No, I mean, I think it's okay to plant. I mean, they'll definitely eat it, but it's just, I don't know. I like winter wheat better. And there is a difference.
I like
There is a
I
difference.
like the mix.
Yeah, there is a difference in palatability for sure.
Oh yeah. Winter wheat they like more, I think.
Yeah, like you said, mixes are great because you always have something that's uh working for you. Different plants come in different stages of palatability throughout the year, and that way you always kind of have something going for you.
Well, and I don't always agree with some of the narrative out there either. For these folks planting half of a plot in this and half of a plot in that.
Mm-hmm.
Because at some point, half of your plot's going to get down the bare dirt, and half of your plot's going to be bare.
We got a question from Silver Badger. Any reason? Yep. Any reason why I have plenty of deer on my 40 wintering, but they will not touch the softball size beets?
Well, I would wonder about the palatability of them when they were planted, and if they were ever planted there before.
Yeah.
Are the deer used to eating them?
Right.
There's a few things that I would throw at them.
I'm not a huge fan of beets anyway.
I have never planted them, so I don't have an answer for them.
Yeah, I just don't think they're. Yeah, I just don't think they're the best. But if they're not eating them, even this time of year, then I just wouldn't plant them anymore. Usually it's an issue with that. It's something they're not used to. If they're not used to it, it may take them a year or two to figure out what the heck they are, and go from there. Joseph, this was my first time planting, and it hurt, and I heard that it would grow in the back of a pickup if you gave it a chance, but I will definitely take your advice. Yeah, that's the guy that asked about the winter rye, but
okay.
Like I said, it will grow anywhere for sure, but the reason people plant it is because that it will grow anywhere and it'll grow in a lack of pH. But if you're trying to grow something in a lack of pH, that's your first mistake to begin with, because it's low pH is not going to make that plant palatable wise. Yeah, you'll have some deer eating it, but to be the best that it can be, you have to increase your pH, your fertility levels, and all that. So that's the number one reason why people plant winter rye, is because it grows anywhere and it'll grow in lower pH. But if you're trying to grow something in lower pH, you're starting out wrong already. Yes? No? What do you guys say about that?
I'm with you, but I got a mouthful of sandwich.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, no matter what, you should be putting out the highest nutrition you can. So
yeah,
pay attention to your soil samples. Get everything amended the way you need it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever does grow in your field will be palatable as long as you don't plant it too early.
Yeah.
And it gets too mature.
Right.
This might be an instance where it got too mature and they're not liking it, just like a brassica.
Yeah.
So something else to pay attention to.
For sure. The rear of my property is heavily wooded. I have a small pond back there as well. What trees would you remove to make a small destination food plot? It has lots of conifers, maples, and tulip trees. Well, I don't know how it's set up, if they're scattered throughout there. If you have conifers and then maples, you can take out some of the conifers, you can take out some of the maples. It just depends how bad that you really need to have food plot. I mean, they're not mass producing trees, so and you don't want to eliminate all your conifers, and you don't want to eliminate all your maples. So you have to find the balance between the trees and then take out what you have to take out.
Definitely select cut situation.
Yeah. Belinda Horn's asking a question. Your giveaway winner. He said, I want to permanently screen a long road where an electric right-of-way is. What's your thoughts on giant miscanthus grass? My answer to that is I have zero experience with miscanthus grass.
That makes two.
Yeah,
Right.
I've never planted it. I know people that have planted it, and it's another one of them situations where you have to grow it 100% properly. You have to take care of the weeds. You have to take care of everything to make it perfect. It requires maintenance. Sometimes you got to burn it and then cut it, and it takes many years to grow. But it will be. It's a very expensive screen.
Yeah, you have to buy those rhizomes.
Yeah.
Each plant separately, I believe.
Yeah, so it's a very expensive way to go. A cheaper option is to use switchgrass that's permanent. With switchgrass, you also have to pay attention to, you have to do it correctly. You have to eliminate the weeds. You have to frost seed it. You have to 100% do it properly. Otherwise, it won't turn out the right way that you want it. But if you do that, that'll be a permanent, grass setup, permanent barrier. As long as you plant it 10, 15 feet wide, it'll work out good. But you have to follow the directions to the T.
Well, if it's a situation where it's going to be permanent and it's not worried about roots and things, why, may want to even go into some small evergreen type plants, or bushes or something.
Yeah, I mean, you could even do the some kind of conifer with the switchgrass.
Yeah.
I just don't have any information on the miscanthus other than it's hard to grow, it's expensive to grow, and it requires some maintenance to do it. A cheaper version is switchgrass. Samuel says, "What's your and Chris's thoughts on having a mock scrape along the edge of a food plot?" My option or opinion on that is it's great, because if you have the mock scrape along your food plot, then that gives you a shot opportunity, especially if your food plot is large to where you can't reach to the other side of that food plot to shoot. So adding a mock scrape within bow range is just a great addition to that food plot. Now, a lot of times we put them on the way to a food plot, on creek crossings, ditches, right on the other side, to where it's on their way to the food plot, and you can set up a bow stand as well. Along that, you can encourage deer to use that path with the mock scrape to lead them to a food plot. But I think having them around your food plot is beneficial when you are using them for a bow shot.
I also would echo the part that you said, leading them to a plot more than an attraction.
Yeah. Yes.
So I would echo that.
You don't know.
I don't use them as much as you do, to be honest.
I know. I love mock scrapes. They're a beneficial tool.
For sure can be.
Aaron says, I don't have any big machines to get stumps out of a food plot. What would you use to get the stumps gone? Well, I was just asked this question the other day. I don't know if it's the same person, but there's nothing I mean, you're going to have to either dig them out, let them rot, dig them out, or use some sort of four-wheeler or heavy equipment to get them out of there. What do you guys say about that?
Well, I'm fighting with my kid. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that part. Well, what are we on the stumps?
Yeah, how can you get stumps out without heavy equipment?
Nothing
you can do.
Not a whole lot. We've drilled down through them before.
Mm-hmm.
Take a big hammer drill or a paddle bit or something. Drill down through the top of them, so that you create a void, and then the water would get down in it and rot them.
Yeah.
Quicker.
Yeah, but there, I mean, other than letting it rot or using the heavy equipment, I mean, there's nothing.
Yeah, letting it rot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably going to be your best bet.
Yeah, for sure.
Just take it as low to the dirt as you can.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to have a tractor, so.
Rocking Retirement Outdoors says burn them out.
Yeah, you can do that too. There again, you could drill down through the center and drill a hole down on like a 45 from the outside in and meet that center hole. Fill it up with something caustic and light her up. let her burn.
Let her burn.
Let her burn.
Yeah, burn them. Burn them to the ground. Well, I'm an hour and a half into this thing, so I'm gonna cut the phone off with you and end this live stream. Unless you have any last final thoughts, you want to say something. Speak now or don't speak.
Oh no, just get over and be subscribed to both our channels, Whitetail Obsession and City Sticker. There's going to be, especially come March, April time, there's going to be lots of videos coming for spring, and you'll have to stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, if they can try to win some tickets or go to the virtual outdoor show website, Medina Outdoors and Medina Media, I should say, they can get tickets there.
When you get off the phone here, message me the code. I don't remember the code. I gotta give it away to somebody.
Okay.
All right.
Goodbye, everybody, and talk to you here in a bit, Dave.
Later.
Bye.
Later. I'll see you guys. Have a great weekend. A good week coming up this week, and be safe, man. It's crazy out there. So